Man, what's going on? Why is my heart racing? What's up with that? Am I nervous? You make me nervous. Let's be honest. Because I care so much about you guys. Okay, that's kicked off. What is going on here? I'm gonna do a screen share. Look at this. Looks like Facebook isn't gonna allow us to advertise today either. What is up with that? Very, very interesting. Ran into all sorts of issues yesterday. I'm sure we made some type of Facebook list because it's not allowing us to advertise today. Well, that just means uphill battle. I hope in that tyrannical censorship, that type of manipulation of information just ramps up the sense of urgency and responsibilities we all have to kind of pick up the slack there. So if you do me a favor and share this live today, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for all you do. Welcome to Unmuzzled Chat. Folks, I'm psyched. What amazing information. All of this. It's not just patriots, but God-fearing individuals willing to put everything on the line to benefit you and I and us all and our children. And right here in the initial 10-part series Janet created, The Fall of the Cabal, and then also the sequel. We walked through it all. We have all the links to it. So much information. One all the way through, what was it? 28? Amazing. And she was taken from us. Rest in peace, Janet. We're so grateful for all this amazing information. What a gift to us all. I'm grateful for the Vaxxed trilogy and the group that put together these, I guess you could call them documentaries, films. I'm so grateful for the group that put this together and the individuals that step forward to share their personal stories in Vaxxed 1, Vaxxed 2, Vaxxed 3. If you want to know more about the MMR, the corrupt infrastructure, the connections to autism, Vaxxed 1 covers so much amazing information. The CDC childhood schedule, I believe they even have some information regarding the flu shots and things of that nature right here in Vaxxed 2 and their personal stories. What better data to dive into than that? Vaxxed 2 out of the 3 is my favorite. Vaxxed 3 more so goes into the COVID tyranny and specifics regarding the shot, also the hospital protocols. Amazing. I'm grateful for the group that put together Frankenskies. That is a topic I personally want to dive into more. And there's so many other groups similarly putting together such amazing information that just makes it undisputable and brings enough of the facts to us to, just assist us in come to terms in the reality of the world around us. Like, folks, no more of this. No more getting in line just because everyone's in line for a comforting lie. Time to step out, face an unpleasant truth. Isn't that the only way we are in fact going to properly address things and protect ourselves and our children? I'm grateful for Glenn and this amazing diary, documentary of his personal life and his story, but also so many others just bringing such powerful concepts to light. That's why I'm so excited for Rumble and so many podcast apps that are still more so supporting free speech and allowing us to share this information and have these conversations. Let's not forget how much we ran into yesterday with YouTube, with Instagram issues, Facebook streaming issues, all the tyrannical platforms. YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, we all had issues on getting this information out. grateful. Let's see, who else have we recently missed? I mean, I'm grateful for the man of steel, Joshua, and his powerful testimony and all the things he's doing on the side, all the amazing momentum they're building to benefit us all. Be sure to check out Glenn's Finish This Fight. That's a documentary you could sit around the holidays and enjoy with your family, and it's so tastefully done that it leaves you more so excited and just ready to kick some butt. I love it. We need more of that. Leaving us with a good taste in our mouth at the end, not so much like this doom and gloom. I'm grateful for Stu Peters Network. We just went through Died Suddenly. If that's something you haven't seen, check out our last episode or directly watch it from the stupeters.com. There's other documentaries we want to dive into that he's created, such as Old World Order, Occupied. Now, I'm not going to dive into Occupied until he makes it available for free, but it seems it still is. If you want to see that, you need to sign up as a member. I think it's $9 a month, or you get 2 free months if you just buy an annual pass to, access that and so much other information. They created The Final Days. I have yet to watch that one. They created Slave Nation, Watch the Water, Final Days. Wow, I have that written down twice. And the documentary we are going to dive into today. Yeah, no more of this simple but wrong. Everyone's lining up, complex but right. Just a couple individuals. So, you know what? Let's go ahead. I'm just going to close that. We'll just show you how easy. Let's go stupeters.com. You could come over here, click on the documentaries tab, and here you go. Occupied, Old World Order. That's an interesting one. I'm actually excited to sit down with one of my buddies because we're both kind of building and working with our hands, things like that. It just makes you think. Do I agree with everything uncovered in this particular one? Not necessarily. No, absolutely not, in fact. But it really makes you think and challenge you in very healthy ways, I feel, in pushing back on all the things we were spoon-fed. Because a lot of things around us, even in this country, right here in America, do not add up from what we were told and what exists around us. And they do such a fantastic job. The Died Suddenly, we're going to dive into these little ones. Final Days, Slave Nation, Watch the Water, a couple different renditions, it seems there, closing chapter. So I'm excited to dive into those. But for now, you can just click on one of these. You just simply input your email. We're unmuzzledchat@gmail.com. If you want to kick off personal discussions, share some other amazing information you've come across, please reach out to me personally. If you'd like to guest on this podcast, would love to have you on. It's together how we're going to effectively build more momentum and create more solutions. And gosh dang, aren't our children worth it? I know that this information can be hard to digest, but how else are we going to properly protect our little ones, our children, all of our children, if we are willing to lie to ourselves or turn a blind eye to the facts and what is really happening all around us? That is enough from me, folks. Let's go ahead and dive in. Love you all. There's a little bit of a read right here. Let's go ahead and go through this. Millions of children vanish each year. 83,000 each month. 2,700 a day. These are facts, documented. 115 per hour. 1 every 30 seconds. It makes you wonder, where do they all go? We all, in a way, are turning a blind eye to this. I know some of you have been more involved in this regard, like on this particular topic, let's say even more than I've done, and before I've even gotten engaged myself. Thank you for all you have done. But the fact that this is continuing goes to show, if we're being honest with ourselves, we haven't done enough. No individual could shoulder the burden alone, because it's not an alone entity that we're up against. We're up against the devil himself, the synagogue of Satan, and all his minions. And people just walking, just wallowing, whatever you want to call it, in sin, in this existence. So it really is a communal effort. And I pray and hope that we seize these opportunities with all the light God has to give us. And I know he'll bless us in ways, tap into our gifts that he's given us, and that will lead to great solutions and ending so much suffering. Okay, let's dive in. All right, here's our disclaimer. This film is not suitable for children. We'll give you a second. Put in your earbuds or pull it off the main screen. But let's go.
Hundreds of children in Arizona who are missing right now from state custody. But who is out there looking for them?
Over 1 million children vanish each year.
The FBI has found dozens of missing children in Los Angeles. It's all part of what's being called Operation Lost Angels.
83,000 each month.
Oh, that's horrific.
They found nearly 978 children went missing in 2019.
2,700 a day.
72 missing children across Indiana, Iowa, Ohio, and Georgia in the past several weeks.
115 per hour.
In the meantime, the Arizona Department of Child Safety says tonight they can't locate 44 children who are supposed to be in their custody.
In their custody? What? One is too many. Let's be honest with ourselves. Yeah. One is too many.
One every 30 seconds.
Oh my God.
Some in this operation were trafficked, some sexually and or physically abused.
This child trafficking thing is real. It has always existed.
This, gentlemen, ladies, this is why I'm so pro 2A. Could you imagine those moments? Men overpowering women, taking their children in public spaces even? So pro 2A. To get familiarized, comfortable, because you don't want to just get something you're not comfortable with. It could actually be used to your detriment. But there's also other, I was very impressed. I'll bring that information to fruition as I build my own testimony about it. But my mom personally was never, love you, Mom, just a shout out, was never really comfortable with the firearm itself. So she got, it starts with a B. It's like Beretta or something, some type of pistol, but it's got a CO2 cartridge that doesn't puncture till you fire its first shot. And we've tested that, and it's really cool. But it shoots like a less lethal paintball sized projectile, and they mess people up. I guess there's videos out there where they were actually shooting at a Navy SEAL for practice, like plated up, this and that, and he was able to push forward with the solid projectiles. But you could get the pepper sprayed ones, and once a few of those were sent his way, he could no longer push forward. So it totally disabled like the situation. So if I feel that that's not, let's say, bringing a knife to a gunfight, that is a very viable solution for those that are just too scared or too fearful to get into the firearm space. But it has a lot of similar components to it that you could get familiarized, that it will be that much easier to transition into a firearm. And personally, I do feel that a 22 with a good grouping is better than, given a guy or gal that is too clinchy and flinchy with a 9mm or 40 or anything to that caliber, you're better off with a 22, because anyone pursuing an individual to place rounds you're gonna stop them at some point. So it's better to even have a lesser caliber and be hitting a target, a threat, than a higher caliber that obviously has more punch and be missing that target. So kind of a volume ordeal. I'm just bringing that up because, my gosh, to see these clips, you could prevent this. And the crime in our country has only gotten worse. And I feel we are only seeing the beginning of it. So it's important that we get prepared.
Well, my name is Nancy Schaefer, and I'm from the state of Georgia in the United States. And thank you for your gracious invitation. I will share with you on the...
Nancy Schaefer. I'm going to do some research on the side, but I'm pretty sure she not just got demoted and lost her position, but I believe she's no longer with us, and I'm going to do some research as this plays.
Unlimited power of Child Protective Services. I served in the Georgia State Senate, and after 4 years of viewing the ruthless and unsparing actions of Child Protective Services, I wrote a scathing report entitled "The Corrupt Business of Child Protective Services." The report cost me my Senate seat. This is not to say that there are not those children in wretched situations.
I don't mean to bring up anything dark, but individuals with the platform that can actually have an impact. Yeah, she was killed not too long after this. Looks like gunshot wounds in their North Georgia home. This is where we collectively have to protect our children against this evil. Any one individual gains enough momentum, this evil's just more apt to take them out. And that's just the world we live in. It's a hard one to swallow, but it's just look at the facts. Unbelievable. Well, my heart goes out to her and her family. What a freaking warrior.
Who need to be removed. There are, and we all agree.
If you have history in your past, you know of a story of an abusive child who was saved by CPS, you can't then assume that CPS saves everybody. Who is mainly involved in CPS? Hospitals and doctors. Why? Because people trust hospitals and doctors. They shouldn't, but they do. And in the same hospital where babies are being born, the same hospital, babies are being kidnapped.
Wow.
In the same place where people are being cured of cancer, the same place people are being killed with remdesivir and ventilators.
Right.
And people can't separate that because they see it all as one. Something's either all good or it's all bad.
But tonight, I'm talking about those children removed from their homes intentionally for profit.
What is child trafficking? Child trafficking is when you kidnap a child for profit. In other words, if you take a child from its family and give it to somebody else for money, that's the definition of child trafficking. But what you need to recognize is that defines what the states are doing with the federal government.
There was no order.
Right.
There doesn't have to be an order.
Wow.
My baby is fine.
The mommy can go without doctor's order, but not the baby.
The states are taking children, giving them to somebody else for money that they get from the federal government. That means that all 50 states are involved in government-subsidized child trafficking. It's a ring. It is the largest and most pervasive child trafficking ring in the history of the world by sheer money and numbers.
Children are seized unnecessarily from their families due to the federal aid entitled the Adoption and Safe Families Act.
Wow.
It was put into law in 1997 by Bill and Hillary Clinton, and I said it that way on purpose. And it is a law that literally steals money from the Social Security Fund and gives this money to the states in order to incentivize them to kidnap babies.
To receive the adoption incentives or bonuses, local CPS must have more children. They must have more merchandise to sell.
Every child, once you've added it all up, is worth approximately $1 million to the state. But we've been told that this is a $60 to $80 billion a year industry, meaning the federal government is taking $80 billion a year and giving that money to all of the 50 states to kidnap children.
Guys, I know this is a hard pill to swallow. We don't want that to be the reality. We don't want what government and child protective services and these agencies. We would rather, I get there's a level of cognitive dissonance here that it's hard to come to terms with. But like they even said, psychologically, we've literally been programmed to believe like, oh, they're either all good or all bad. Like it's either a criminal organization or good. Truth is, I'm sure there's great individuals that are involved in child protective services on an individual level. But as an organization as a whole, you can't deny the facts that this is meeting the very definition of child trafficking. And there's examples and things, so just bear with it if in fact we care about children or there's any level of involvement in our lives through siblings or cousins or just whatever about that include children in our lives. I mean, you'd have to be, I think, pretty living in a cave or a hole somewhere to not have experienced a part of children in your life that we all have a responsibility. Now, I get it's hard to absorb, but the information and the facts brought forth in this amazing film/documentary, it's indisputable. So let's just do what we can to get through it and try to gain some type of positive perspective lens and address these issues in our society today, because they are clearly issues.
Parents are victimized by the system that makes a profit for holding children longer.
Wow.
And bonuses for not returning children to their parents.
Bonuses.
But their own statistics state that 83% of all children who are taken by CPS, Child Protective Services, are for unsubstantiated allegations.
Wow.
Meaning never should it have happened in the first place. So that imagine anything else in the world where you know you get it wrong 83% of the time and you admit it, but you just keep doing it.
What?
Case workers and social workers are often guilty of fraud. They withhold and destroy evidence.
It doesn't make any logical sense as you study this all across the country, and it specifically doesn't make any sense in the case of my grandson, baby Cyrus.
Our journey began in May when Diego Rodriguez reached out to me to expose to the world what Child Protective Services was doing to his grandson, Cyrus. At the time of this interview, the parents of baby Cyrus were gagged by Judge Lori Fortier under threat of imprisonment.
Wow.
And after starting to dig in, we had no idea how dark and how deep the rabbit hole would go.
What is this about, sir?
So this all started when my son Cyrus was having prolonged vomiting episodes. We had taken him to many different specialists to get checked out. Nobody could seem to find out what the problem was. We had just brought Cyrus back the following week from the hospital, from the ER. He had been discharged and everything. He was doing great. And then that week we had follow-up appointments with our specialists, nurse practitioners and such.
That morning, I woke up with a sore throat, and I was gonna try to go to that weight check anyways. And my husband was like, you know what, just cancel, it's fine.
And so she called in and she asked them if we could cancel the appointment, and she was just gonna reschedule for that following Monday. They didn't answer the phone, so she just left them a voicemail. And apparently, 20 minutes after that, they had called CPS and reported us just for that.
And I woke up from my nap, and there was a text message from a social worker. My dad told my husband that the law enforcement had showed up at his home looking for my son and looking for us.
In the evening, my wife was feeling much better. We went and we had dinner with our friend that had already previously been scheduled.
That moment we pulled out, my sister spotted an officer, and she said, oh, look, there's a cop right there. I think he's following us. And when I looked forward, there was a second officer that turned in front of us. And immediately when that happened, I knew, okay, this is not gonna be good.
The police officer said, hey, I just have a bolo out in your truck and I need to detain you until Meridian Police come.
We got a call from Meridian Police Department detectives, okay, and for whatever reason, they're looking for your truck.
And then it was just more and more and more,
Wow.
and pretty soon there was probably 10 to 15 police cars around, 20 different officers or so, right? The detectives came up and they told us, hey, we have a CPS referral for you guys. It looks like you guys missed your appointment this morning.
Okay, Levi, do me a favor, step out of the car. No, I want you to step out of the car.
Okay, is that my right to speak?
Not right now, son. Get out of the damn car. Get out of the car. I'm not gonna screw around with you, okay?
What is going on?
Right, get back now, or you're gonna go to jail.
Detained for what?
We're not gonna screw with you. You understand?
For
not to.
For what?
No, felony injury to child. Get out of the car.
Hey, you can't abuse me. I'm getting out.
Oh my God.
Let me get out.
For what reason?
For a felony injury to a child. Okay?
Felony
I
injury.
knew what was going to happen at this point, but I didn't want to accept it.
The officers come around to my side. They open the truck door, and at this moment, when this is all happening, I remembered what I prayed, and immediately I knew, I had no doubt in my mind they were going to take him, that no matter what happened, they were going to take him.
Give me the baby, okay?
I can't. Can you please help me right now? You understand? I'm in a desperate mom right now.
We know.
I really need your help right now.
Talk to her. We'll give you that opportunity, okay? But we're going to take him to the hospital. And if you want to go, you can come
Can I
along.
ride with you?
Yes, you can.
The mom's not there to drive us out,
What? So you lied.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Well, no, we don't want her to know where the hospital.
No.
This is
The fear that I
intense.
had at that moment was like absolutely paralyzing. I don't think there were many things I wouldn't have done to keep him. And so he says, come into the ambulance with the baby. We just want to check on him. We won't separate you. You can go to the hospital with him. You can ride in the ambulance and you won't be separated. I promise you. You can trust me.
The officer told me that I could go with him in the ambulance into the hospital.
Yeah, and I don't know what was said before then. I was not a part of that conversation.
You can't take him. You can't. Guys,
Because their kid had some issues but was doing better, they called in, canceled the appointment, and the doctor facility is able to instigate all of this called Child Protective Service. What? This is intense.
I can't. You understand what happens when the state takes custody of babies? I've seen this so many times. I can't be that next person.
It has been reported over and over that 6 times as many children die in foster care than in the general public. Once a child is legally kidnapped and placed in official safety.
Folks, consider it wasn't too long after this that she was murdered in her own home. Could it be? Could it possibly be what she's speaking out on here? She already lost her Senate seat due to exposing this. The money, the power, the control. We're going to give a plug to Sound of Freedom in that film because this is happening right here in our country, in our neighborhoods, in our states, all 50 states.
The child is far more likely to suffer abuse, including sexual molestation and or rape.
Wow.
So you have one option at this point. You need to give him to the EMT, and you can go on your merry way with your friends and your family who's out there.
That's not Mary at all.
Or I remove him from you and you go to jail. You need to make that decision. You need to make it now, Chris.
I won't let him go.
Okay. Go ahead and jump out of the way for me.
This is so illegal. This is so wrong.
Okay, please let him go so he does not get hurt, okay? Come here, little buddy. Okay.
Taking a baby from a mother.
No, she's going to jail. Okay.
I just said I couldn't, but I let him go.
Put your hands on your back, please, okay?
Unbelievable.
And he had his hands over the EMT's shoulder, like reaching out for me. They closed the ambulance door. That was the last thing I saw.
Right. Let's kidnap you.
Go in the car. In the car. It's all right. It's okay.
Cyrus!
It's okay. It's all right.
No, let me say bye.
You're going to make it worse. You're going to make it worse. Say goodbye.
These are crimes against humanity for financial gain.
Wow.
Rights are removed from parents. Human rights, civil rights, and even religious rights.
But this is a level and order of magnitude in terms of wickedness right up there with abortion and all other great evils.
Right.
Man stealing is a capital crime, meaning God says those people who kidnap or who steal other men by force are worthy of death.
Wow.
These parents, trapped in the system, become like refugees. They're dazed and glazed and have no one of whom to turn. They do not know what to do, and the loss of their children is devastating.
In the middle of us being good parents, desperately trying to take care of him, now the government's just going to step in and say, okay, you're criminals, and we're taking your child from you.
After having worked in this arena for several years, I do not believe that a single child comes out whole after having been in this system. And it is a growing criminal political phenomenon spreading around the globe.
This is a spiritual battle. This is not new. This goes back thousands of years. I would say this literally goes back to the very beginning.
Yes. Guys, let's just inject some positivity here. This is heavy. I get it. I'm even fighting back emotion. But we have great opportunity. I know you and I, we didn't cause all this, right? We don't want this. It's even hard to come to terms that this is the society we're living in. But we must come to terms with the reality of the world we're living in to properly address it. And let's just try our best to have a positive lens. We can't turn a blind eye to this at all. And I'm so grateful for what the Stu Peters Network did for this family. There's good news, but such a challenge. I couldn't imagine being in their shoes. There's a lot of things to learn here. The Child Protective Services gives you a ring or shows up at your door. Record everything. Everything.
In order to understand this present darkness, of course we had to uncover its origins in the past. There was no other man more qualified than biblical archaeologist Henry B. Smith Jr. of the Associates for Biblical Research.
Archaeology is a tool that can be used properly and carefully as an apologetic resource, as an educational resource, as a biblical resource to help people understand that what we find in Holy Scripture are not stories, they're not myths. These are actual events that took place in time and space. And the sovereign God who reveals himself in Scripture has preserved these things in Scripture for us to understand human history, to understand our need for salvation, that we have a sin problem, a very wretched and deep one, that needs a redeemer. Jesus warns his hearers, and he uses this very powerful picture of putting a millstone around the neck of someone being tossed into the sea.
It would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble.
Yes.
So watch yourselves.
Unfortunately, in history and even in the modern day, that children are attacked, abused, and in many cases even kidnapped and murdered. One of the first passages that we see in the Old Testament is both in Leviticus 18 and 20, and it refers to what seems strange to the modern reader at first glance, is the practice of child sacrifice. Particularly, we have mentioned in these passages where God is giving absolute commands to the Israelites not to participate in the sacrifice of their children, to give them over to Molech.
Why in Hillary's emails was it uncovered that I mean, she's writing this in a capacity of her workplace, using government, oh my gosh, like servers, things of that nature, and whatever, doing it illegally as well. But that she was going to sacrifice a chicken to Moloch. These individuals are freaking evil. Just because of our modern technological advances, evil didn't stop. Everything in these secret societies and these satanic worship rituals, they are continuing today. And Janet from the Fall of the Cabal, bless her heart, she was one exposing a lot of those connections as well. So many others. How is it we, like as Christians and believers in Christ, really aren't making these distinctions anymore? It's almost like we're ruling out the prayer Jesus taught us to protect us from evil, deliver us from evil this day. That's like a daily prayer we should be integrating. Our battle isn't of the flesh. It truly is a spiritual battle. And yes, it bleeds over into the flesh where mortally we are threatened. But the root of it truly is spiritual.
See, in these warnings in the Old Testament that God is warning the Israelites are not just mere inventions. The Israelites are not just making up these gods, but they actually exist. All of it, though, involves the giving over of small children, usually very small from what we understand from the archaeological evidence, to these gods. In the book of Jeremiah, we see a mention of it that it looked like it was taking place in the valley of Hinnom, right outside the city walls of Jerusalem. What's interesting about that is eventually that place gained the name Gehenna, which Jesus uses the motif for hell. Now, when we think about the practice of child sacrifice in antiquity, people in the West often think of this as some barbaric practice of the world in the past. Right. People kind of like want to close their eyes to the parallels that we have with the practice of abortion. The only distinction from a human standpoint that we're talking about is that the child is not born yet versus a child that's born.
63,459,781 total abortions since 1973.
Wow.
What if instead of sacrificing children to the sound of beating drums on blazing altars, they merely concealed themselves in discreet brick buildings with forceps and vacuum pumps?
Wow. It's powerful.
In 1984, one of the most disturbing and underreported cases of child sacrifice was discovered in a Los Angeles shipyard.
Right.
In a repossessed shipping container, workers discovered over 16,500 aborted babies.
One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet. And it was opened up, and there it was. It was a mutilated body. And the more closer I looked at it, it was a human body. And when I came to work the following day, I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And just little bitty babies, just all torn pieces. Their heads chopped off, arms, legs.
And as bizarre and demented as that sounds, in December of 2020, Indiana authorities discovered a total of 2,411 medically preserved fetal remains in the possession of Dr. Ulrich Klopfer.
I don't know about you folks, but it makes me want to draw closer to the light. Only with the armor of God can we fully expose and not basically lose our faith or hope for humanity, and able, to maintain our sanity and do what we can with having the armor of God on. Man, there's another point there. My brain, I tell you, this is just, I know it's emotionally challenging, but we got this, folks.
There seems to be no logical explanation for such a volume of deceased babies, until you learn that each one can yield thousands of dollars when sold to various institutions.
Planned Parenthood is accused of some disturbing crimes today. Anti-abortion activists released an undercover video filmed last year. It claims to show a senior official discussing how the organization sells aborted baby parts.
The value of the fetal brains alone in that container was $35 million. Yes, $35 million. The official narrative is that they were preserved due to an inability to properly dispose of them at the time of abortion. A far more reasonable conclusion is that they were moving product. In the past, sacrifices to Moloch might yield better crops or victory in battle. But this evil has evolved into a capitalist enterprise where the blood of these little ones translates into millions in profit.
Well said.
Perhaps the particulars have changed over time, but the spirit is still the same, and it has a thread all throughout history. We're going to sacrifice this child so we can get what we want in return. So the question is Moloch being paid today? Our archaeological research shows definitively that this practice took place for over centuries. So why in the world would we think that it wouldn't persist today?
It's right out in the open. Wow. So much symbolism. Disgusting. Kind of intense, but evil never stopped.
My name is Brandy Brassell. I work with Warrior Bride Ministries. We are a ministry that we minister inner healing and deliverance, but we specialize in some of the most traumatized survivors of satanic ritual abuse and human trafficking.
Wow.
I think that satanic ritual abuse is a lot greater and a bigger problem than most realize, and probably even myself submersed in it as I am.
Wow. That's
every neighbor.
Someone that pretty much has given up their normal life to help little children, and still admitting humbly they really don't know the depths of it. We can't even fathom what evil and the evildoers of today's world, what it consists of.
Neighborhood with 250 homes in it, 14 had satanic ritual abuse taking place.
Wow.
We had a client come in that his grandmother had brought him in. He was, from what I understand, fairly high up in ranking in a satanic, I guess, congregation or coven. And he talked about killings and murders and rituals that he had experienced.
Guys, this is kind of heavy and dark. I'm going to admit, if you haven't properly put on the garb from God to really absorb this in healthy ways and what we can do, I'd venture to say gain that before diving in. This is where I do also feel men have been built different, and I call for more men to step forward regarding the things that are taking place around us. And we can more so protect our women and children by fulfilling our duty and kind of the natural calling. Men are supposed to give women security, right? And that encompasses all of this. Like, isn't that one of the leading things in relationships women are seeking? Security. It goes beyond financial security. It's securing our societies and the protections for them and their children, all of these things. So I do feel strongly impressed to call more men for this. But as you could see, there's warrior women giving up their life of normalcy to address these very profound truths. Like, they're hard to accept, yet come to terms with. My hat is off to this woman.
Army. He spoke of it like it was an army, because it is. Wow. The enemy is after our children. at whatever cost and whatever avenue he can get to them at.
Right.
I'm a satanic ritual abuse survivor. The Christian church says all the time that they fight an enemy, but I don't think they're aware of how organized and strategic the enemy that they're fighting is. That there is a intentional plan to break their children. An entire war for their offspring.
The things I've heard from our survivors are the very things that you read about in Deuteronomy with the children being passed through the fire to Moloch. It's not something new. It's been happening. It's for ages. And people want to stick their head in the sand and act like it's not happening, or this is not true, or it's made up, or it's a conspiracy.
Right.
I've met too many people with the same story from different places all over the world. We've got clients in New Zealand and in Canada that tell a very similar story, and there's no way that they could have made that up.
Wow.
They're too similar in circumstances. The rituals are the same. The torture and the trauma is the same.
We started investigating these secret satanic cults when a British Member of Parliament linked them with the ritual murder of children. In this day and age, it sounded too far-fetched, as did suggestions that the same thing might be happening in Australia. But then we met Teresa. Teresa is now 15. But
Wow,
at the age
this
of
is
2,
old footage.
she was left in the care of this woman.
We've known about this for a long time. Yeah, we just want to bury our head in the sand. It's, well, we're not doing these things.
Grandma she called Nan. And that, she says, is when her torment started.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil. According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
It was big, you know, expensive. From the front, it looked like a castle. You know, it had a long drive and big double wooden doors.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
A lot of the other whistleblowers talk about how they sacrificed for money and power. So think about that. Evil has been gifting those serving him, because Jesus told us there is a God of this world, a prince of this world, and he's here to deceive, kill, and destroy. How is it we're not putting it together that evil has seated people on thrones essentially in this world today, fulfilling this helps connect the dots on so many other things. It now brings to light the infrastructure behind the COVID tyranny and all these other destructive movements that without this type of understanding, it's hard to acknowledge there's such evil in this world. Absolutely is. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that when like even me personally, among these great challenges, this is what tends to lead us toward the light, and all roads really do lead to our loving Creator and great breakthrough. So there's great opportunities to minimize the suffering and push back against evil in this existence. And I believe that is a more fulfilling path and walk, because you're going to be facing your challenges upon challenges, which just leads to, the more you lean into God and Christ, leads to more growth, more strength, more clarity, more peace even among, and now we're living a life of meaning and fulfillment. And it's a more humble path than what we could gain selfishly in this existence. It's a tough path, but I don't know a more blessed path. The more I've challenged myself on things like this, I just, my only real regret, I'm grateful to have kind of come, like the veil be lifted to the degree it has to this point, but I wish I would have came to these realizations decades ago.
People don't understand how organized it is. There's a satanic calendar. Grand climaxes happen 4 times a year. Those are major festivals. Think of your Christmas, your Easter, big holidays. Wow. We're talking major rituals, the September marriage to the beast ceremony. And if you look at the dates, the majority of kidnappings in the United States happen a week before, because there's a preparation. Each satanic holiday requires a specific sacrifice, whether it be blood or sex or an animal, newborn babies, whatever they needed for blood.
Let me get this right now. Are you saying that you saw more than one person killed in that house?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen loads of babies killed there, just newborn babies, or aborted ones which were only small.
It's heart-wrenching.
4-year-olds. Any age, really.
1/6 of Georgia has 37 commons. 37 commons. 4 grand climaxes a year that require the sacrifice of a child or a woman. That's a lot of people.
Where do the kids come from? The majority that are used for this.
That's a good question.
People don't want to know that answer.
Ooh. Yeah, we don't. But right here, let's just recover what was discussed in the very beginning. Millions of children vanish each year. Millions. 83,000 each month. 2,700 a day. 115 per hour. 1 in every 30 seconds. That is so horrific. It's hard to even imagine in this singular broadcast, this singular live, as to how many lives are being taken. It makes you wonder, where do they all go? Well, I do believe this is an explanation. I know this is dark. Let's try to keep it light. I'm just excited to dive into the Bible and seek answers and a path forward regarding these things, to do what I can in the short amount of time I'm given. Do I devote this whole podcast to the children at this point? I mean, I do feel the more we can bring light and health into our bodies, minds, and spirits, so that includes now still bringing people on for their testimonies, all sorts of things, is going to lead to the resilience we need to more properly address these. Because if it was just me going on that particular path, I'm going to have very minimal impact. But if we could raise all of our health, it just now makes sense why evil's so freaking throttled on just foot to the pedal on censoring, manipulating data under misinformation, disinformation. They are the misinformationists, and the disinformationists peddling things that are deteriorating our health. Why are they fighting so hard to deteriorate our health and ramp things up and squeeze the American and all across the globe so greatly, all the citizenry, to where we just don't have the time, even energy, to, golly, like, it's actually, we can see the deterioration and the pressures and kind of effects it's even having on our relationships. So it's like more time and energy needs to go into those. So it's squeezing us in such a way. It's one step at a time. We gain our health, we gain our faith, we gain our testimony. It's like we more so feel prompt to show up in these regards, because there is more fulfillment in this than a new truck. There just is. Let's continue.
If you're finding this
hard to believe.
Right.
So did I at first.
If there is an expert on satanic cults, it would have to be him.
Do you believe Teresa's story?
Who is him?
I believe Teresa's story. It's exactly the same story as I've heard from men who says they've done it.
You've dealt with other cases like hers?
Yes.
21 cases like hers, he says, in the past 2 years alone.
Who's he?
Seems like they were put in boxes with spiders and worms, where they were trapped in fear, where there was a high use of excrement and urine, where there was talk of human sacrifice.
Take just one of those rituals, putting children in boxes with spiders and worms.
That's
now,
horrific.
listen to what Teresa told her mother.
And they had a coffin-like box that children were put in with spiders and snakes and the lid shut and left in there.
Did you ever encounter adrenochrome rituals?
Growing up, yes.
Wow.
What was that like? It was the brutal torture of children within an inch of their life.
This is the artwork displayed in the home of Tony Podesta, a DNC super lobbyist.
What?
Is this life imitating art? Or is this art imitating life?
That's horrific.
And the bigger question, who are the faces in these paintings? And where do they come from? And what if your neighborhood pizza parlor had an art showing like this? It makes you wonder, are we the crazy ones?
Wow, it's gonna dive into WikiLeaks, Pizzagate.
Or have we just been paying attention?
The story of Teresa is a story almost too horrible to recount. A case of child abuse that goes well beyond the kind of things we normally associate with the abuse of children. In 27 years of reporting, it has to be one of the most painful stories I have ever had to tell.
Wow.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
What?
Motherhood at the age of 11.
Never talked.
But from what Teresa told her mother, it wasn't the only pregnancy.
We think about 7 or 8 times. It's hard to say. It was constantly happening from the time she was capable of being pregnant.
What would happen to the fetuses, the unborn babies?
I used to be taken away most of the time, and one time baby was taken out of me and then killed in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was still alive.
And then, what would happen?
Well, after they killed it, they would eat it.
What?
This is a very common occurrence to...
Guys, I know this is a little dark. I know he's going to at some point get back into the baby Cyrus Shabakal and that situation. There is some light. Give us strength, Father. We need it. And he has a way of shining light on the darkest of dark in this existence and bringing opportunity, bringing growth. That's where we're to just lean on into our loving Creator. And once again, I know we're not behind this, but to do our part and properly expose it, come to terms with it, do what we can, like that's what it's about. I've been too weak, too wrapped up in my own world to even have the resilience and strength to acknowledge or address any of this, just too self-absorbed. But somehow, when you lean into our Creator, He gives you an abundance to tap into all this. So I know it's not for everyone because you're just simply not at that place. If anything, this should kind of ramp up some sense of urgency to get there. Because, I mean, as we go into this and we know how bad it is, and 80,000 reported children in a facility that they were stacking up near the border just going missing in a singular event. What? And we know hundreds of thousands of children have disappeared in custody. Like, what? So I had another point there, trying to just breathe a little more light into all of this. Man, why am I so dang human? I am grateful. I don't mean to be all negative even on myself, but let this just be how important it is to even gain our health, our neurological function, up our memory, things of that nature, to gain that place of abundance. And I'm grateful because I am healing and I've been healing. And for the first time in a long time, it all feels okay. Even with neurological issues, Lyme disease, still fighting that stuff out. I'm so grateful. We have so much to be grateful for. But yeah, that's where I was going to go with it. That God is this is exposed in like 80,000 things of that nature. It becomes a wonder as to how he hasn't shown up yet. How is he? And it must be because y'all have such great hearts. And so many want to do good. I know we could get more organized and become more effective in doing good together. Trying to create a hub here. If this is too dark, too heavy, I get it. Tap into our lighter messages, but please help support what we're trying to do so we can end up with the means and the abilities to kick off more organization and support Underground Railroad and true warriors out there. We can have a far greater impact than we all know. Do not discredit yourself.
Encounter survivors that have lost children, and as children they've lost children.
Wow.
I think as young as 11 years old is what I've heard and encountered of babies having babies and watching them be sacrificed.
Multi-generational ritual abuse survivors. We're talking about if I were to have a child who had a child who had a child that's undocumented in these rings.
Wow.
So they breed kids for the specific purpose of using them for sacrifice?
Breeders. And it's more common than you think. And the rest of the kids, from foster care, orphans, people that don't have any family.
Crazy.
We have had several clients come that were trafficked and transported through Child Protective Services and foster care system. Federal or state organizations, they want to deny that it exists or deny the problem because a lot of our children are passing through their hands.
Wow.
They are absolutely a part of the problem.
There are hundreds of children in Arizona who are missing right now from state
Arizona.
custody.
State lawmakers are now questioning how 70 foster kids can go missing.
In the meantime, the Arizona Department of Child Safety says tonight they can't locate 44 children who are supposed to
Arizonians, how are we accepting that? What?
be in their custody.
Investigators believe the 4 children may have been taken from their foster home.
They recovered 25 missing and endangered children over the last month. 1 in 4 was part of what they believe an alleged human trafficking situation.
Joe, thanks for
Orange
covering
County
this.
Last year, they had a bust for these traffickers. 65% of those victims were wards of Child Protective Services. Not only were they wards of Child Protective Services, but check this out. They were never reported missing.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That
so
shows
maybe they were literally sold.
Criminal activity.
People within Child Protective Services.
This trafficking is a lot bigger and a lot more involved politically than we care to look at or the media won't cover. Everybody's afraid because there's some real big heavy hitters that are very influential that are involved.
Think about Epstein. My gosh. Supposed most prolific pedophile and human trafficker we've ever caught. And Maxwell as well. and yet not a single one of their clients, shows the power they have, that they got through one of the most secure facilities and killed them. He didn't suicide himself. I mean, it's pretty easy to come to those conclusions when you look into the facts, like the security cameras that work just fine just during that duration of his suicide didn't work. I mean, come on, you just put it together. It's like, come on, you think we're that dumb? Really? But it just shows what type of powerful positions in our societies these individuals that are doing all this stuff have gained. It's pretty much the top positions in our world, surpassing presidential seats, governments. Oh yeah, it's big. It's the synagogue of Satan. The devil's sitting on that throne.
I totally believe that the majority of the government is either involved, covering it up, or has intentionally put blinders up so that they don't have to deal with
It's
it.
well said.
4 years ago, Brian Kemp's wife told you that the state of Georgia lost 3,600 kids to trafficking.
Crazy.
Where'd they go?
Yes.
If each dozen, all 37 of them, need to sacrifice 4 times a year minimal, that accounts for a good chunk of them, doesn't it?
The FBI, CIA, I mean, all these freaking alphabet soup agencies are going after parents, bringing up, the horrific books in schools and libraries. The FBI can go after the Jan 6ers and grandma that, took a tour or prayed on the Capitol steps. Yet they're not doing what we're paying them to do. And we don't have the proper transparency. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, they're all entirely complicit in these horrific acts. There's too many egregious, unacceptable outcomes that, we properly abolish and rebuild these brick by brick, then we could do amazingly good things and actually fulfill the proper protections of our own children. We're all threatened as of right now. But I'm not trying to bring it up as a doom and gloom. We just have great opportunity to take our roles, our responsibilities to God, country, and our families more seriously. And maybe these type of challenging narratives and discussions within the family units and tasteful ways could actually help us in our relationships thrive, because it's like, here we are, we want to get in tisses over this or that. When like this type of evils around us, it helps put things in better perspectives in the importance of supporting one another in a sense. So there's a lot of opportunity and growth in diving in these type of topics, as dark as they are.
That they do not want uncovered that is leading to this body count.
Who's involved?
Yeah. Wow.
Do you want me to die?
Wow.
How deep it goes is insurmountable. I feel like everyone knows who's involved.
Think about Nancy Schaefer. What did she make? A Senate seat? Quickly demoted from there and then murdered in her own home. Yeah, there's a pretty big list there. I won't bring up what I know off the top of my head, but there's quite a few through Hollywood, other sports figures, a bunch of famous people that came forward. I don't understand how Mel Gibson's still with us. Unbelievable. It's so deep.
Hello.
Oh, there's Isaac Captain.
Guys, something special is happening in here. That's right, it's brackets and jackets, bringing it back for brackets and jackets, special Epstein Island edition.
My name's Corey Daniel. Online, I go by The Phoenix Enigma.
Check out Phoenix Enigma YouTube recent video on Depp and Hollywood. Okay.
The channel began morphing from desert and Phoenix stuff into the occult and following current political events. And I began de-occulting or deconstructing these public rituals that take place in public settings. You know, back in the day, witches and people who worked higher ritual ceremonial magic would do them in basements. They'd do them in, you know, mansions or castles or groves in the forest. Now, the entire world has been pulled into these rituals, and they're now executed in public. And everyone's a part of it, whether they realize it or not. This all began, I guess publicly, it all began on July 22nd at 1:33 in the afternoon at the San Diego Comic-Con.
Okay, what's up? I'm back. I said some crazy shit on Twitter. That is true. Not something I wanted to say, but I'm fucking tired of people lying. I've watched these people just lie and 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 lie, and they will never ever tell the truth. So I'm here to tell the truth.
Apparently, according to Isaac, Seth and Claire invited him over for dinner, talked to him about chicken, showed him a room upstairs with a crib and baby stuff in it, and Seth opened up like a bookshelf, like a secret room, like a real.
Jiminy Crickets, I need to put a proper disclaimer in the description below. I know this could be heavy and deterring a lot of people from like diving in. It's pretty dark. It's challenging. I get that. Help me write up. Throw in the comments, will you? Like a proper description you feel as you're diving into this. I hope it's not too shocking.
Secret room, and in there was like chains and beds and stuff. And he says,
"This is where we keep the children."
So he told that story on July 22nd at 1:33 in the afternoon. That's when he hit it go on his Instagram.
Seth Green, sorry, my man. So sorry. I never wanted to do this. But
25,000 people watching.
I never knew Isaac Happy. I knew of him, but not by name. I knew there was a guy with crazy hair on the internet that had been talking about pedos. He mentioned by name Seth Green. He mentioned Tom Hanks. He mentioned Spielberg and dozens of other ones.
Google paid Macaulay like a lot of money to do those pizza ads. Google knows. I had a whistleblower that said Eric Schmidt was a pedophile. So Google knows.
He was spearheading an underground social media movement called Unseal Epstein.
Epstein, that implicates Israel for one.
Wow.
Was Epstein Island a Mossad honey trap? I have a lot of whistleblowers who are a little bit like, nah, but I'd like to tell you personally, but nah, not for me. We're getting closer and closer and closer. I got a line about a story that's going to be hitting about some pedophiles, famous ones. They still support Hillary Clinton. Is child trafficking, pedophile, cannibal, satanic pedophile, rapist, child trafficker. You want to know how the story ends?
He was sourcing information from social media, aggregating it, and giving it to his handler, someone who I verified actually existed and was moving the information to DC. He had a DC contact. That's what he was doing. He was big. He believed he figured out what Epstein was doing and who Epstein was and how far it went. He wound up being on Lift the Veil channel.
It's got to go. Like, we should not have a world order where children are just raped and even murdered. It's disgusting. It's disgusting and sick. Yes. And it creates a lot of broken people, and I don't like that. They've been covering this stuff up longer than you and I have been alive.
Yeah.
This is not anything new.
Goes back to Babylon, doesn't it?
He was on Alex Jones.
So many whistleblowers are coming to me with amazing information. It's explosive stuff. I've had people that have actually seen the blackmail material for a lot of really big people that you know their names worldwide. The Epstein thing, that was a giant honeypot operation, and that's one of the things I've been stressing to the people that have been watching me. And by the way, a lot of people that have been watching me on my Periscope streams, they're new to this.
My name is Alicia. I was introduced to Isaac through a friend of mine. She kept telling me, you gotta watch this guy Isaac. He's talking about things that...
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot that these little ones, this documentary went as deep as it did. I thought it was more so about CPS and baby Cyrus. I know they're gonna jump back into that story here. I know it. I hope my memory serves me right. But otherwise I would have put proper maybe disclaimers or even in the title. But golly, this is going in depths I've wanted to go in for some time to help expose, so we can come to terms and properly address this evil. Or the only way, words. This is challenging. It really is. But there's so much information on this. Just don't let it consume you. Don't let it, I mean, even as Isaac would say, like, don't go too far in the darkness. Like, be sure to balance out with the light and gravitate more so to the light, because this can just have a heavy effect on us. And I do not want that to be the outcome, because there's just such great opportunity for growth and pushing back evil.
You know about, you should listen to Isaac. Isaac was very loving. He loved his audience. He brought everybody in with group hugs. He was immediately likable.
And way too low. A hug, yes, let's do it. Hugs.
What up, family Lamborghinis? Here we are.
What's up, everybody?
Dun, 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 dun. What's up, family Lamborghinis?
But he talked about really heavy things, and I learned a lot.
Did anyone read that article I sent out on the Telegram group? Ooh, man, I posted something on the Telegram. Oh, geez. Made me sick to my stomach. About someone I used to know.
I would talk every now and then in the live chats, just a little bit. And he kept talking about his Famalam group. And so I got on Telegram and I found how to find Isaac, and he gave me the link to the room. And so I joined the Famalam. I would talk to them and we would kind of have little conversations, and Isaac would come in and out of those groups, and he was always bouncing around from the different rooms. And that's how Isaac and I started talking, was in the room publicly. And then I messaged him once in a while in his private DM, and we would talk a little bit. You know, in May, he made a request.
If you're LA local and you want to reach out, that would be nice. I would like to, maybe talk to more people that are local. Because I've been by myself in my house.
But I messaged him and I said, hey, did anybody take you up on your offer to come and see you? And he said, no, nobody did. And I said, well, I'll be done with work in a couple hours then. Send me your address. Oh my God, what am I doing? Right? And I'll bring you some dinner and I'll keep you some company.
He named his group of people he collected called the Family Lamborghini. That started out in Keybase.
Hi. So you can follow me once you download keybase.io at Isaac Cappy.
And then it moved over to Telegram because Keybase is kind of gnarly to navigate. He was sourcing information. It was his support group. He would go make his Periscope videos, and then he would go on. He was always in there, and people wanted to be close to a Hollywood actor, and people just started gravitating to him. But there was real work being done in there. I assume that the fam was infiltrated from the beginning because Isaac said so. He said, I've been infiltrated. There's people from the beginning that were not my friends that were here watching it.
I wasn't going to say anything today, but I prayed, and then Jesus said he had my back. So, guys, I just found out a bunch of stuff this morning. Yeah, I look like I've seen a ghost. Yeah, I have. And someone that was very close to me, I'm pretty sure they were just there to infiltrate me. They tried to set someone up that you know and love. They're fucking evil. These people are evil. These people are evil. They're unregistered foreign agents. Oh boy.
And Isaac opened the door. I had my bag.
Now that my eyes have been opened more, he's clearly come across some crazy information. And you could even just see how it has... I mean, so many of us could just chalk him up to be borderline insane. Because it hit him on some crazy levels. But I don't know. It's deep. It's hard to explain. We've just been deceived on so many levels in this life. And we just kind of stopped really acknowledging how evil's been here from the beginning. And unfortunately, like we look at the world wars, we look at all of this and the blessings that have been accomplished through this country and the founding fathers and things of that nature, that it feels like we've beat back evil. Well, when you look at biblical in Sodom and Gomorrah and things of that nature, I'd venture to say that era, that time when God totally was fed up, I don't believe it could hold a candle flame to the evil flame that exists today. So we've been kind of programmed to not even properly acknowledge the evil around us today. So more than even fixing all of this, there's great opportunity in properly acknowledging what's taking place, like draw closer on individual levels to our loving Creator. And that, my friends, I believe is the great silver lining here. We've gotten too comfortable, too complacent. It's like evil has literally given us enough bread and circus. Yes, just like the Roman days with the Colosseum and luxuries to lull us in a false state of security in a way. And programming us, American dream, all these other things that we're just not. We have been turning a blind eye to all this evil. It's so crazy, but it's beautiful to face these things because it just leads us. I think I'm just kind of a revolving door now, very repetitive. I hope you kind of got the gist of what I was trying to state there. It's led to my personal breakthroughs and drawing me personally closer to our loving Creator. And I'm just so grateful for the gifts He continually just gives. It's not like earned and achieved. It's just given. And I'm just so grateful. And I feel like it's just the beginning. I am a baby Christian. So I'm going to try my best not to drag Jesus' name through the mud anymore. And try my best. I'm human. Grant me a little grace. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
My hands full of groceries, and he hugged me from the porch, and we walked in and I put my things down. I said, now let's have a proper hug. And he hugged me so hard. Sorry. He'd been alone too long, and he needed company so badly. I made him dinner, we sat down at the bar, and he held my hand and we prayed over our food, and he thanked God for his food, and he thanked God for my kindness to be there. But he was nervous, and he paced around his dining room. He walked down the hall and he'd come back a little bit, and he was nervous. He was still pacing, and I wasn't sure what else to do to help him feel relaxed. And I'm a retired massage therapist, and I said, hey, sit in your chair right here, and why don't you let me rub your shoulders and your neck for you? See if I can help you relax a little bit. You look really tired. And I had felt when I was running my fingers through his hair, there was a knot this size on the low back end of his head. And it was raised off his head a good 1.5 inches. It was a huge knot. And I made note of it, and I didn't touch his neck anymore. And I rubbed his shoulders, and we talked. I felt him relax, and he said, I think maybe I can get a few hours sleep. I finally feel okay. So we said goodbye, and I said, why don't I come back in a couple days and we'll have another visit. I don't want to see you be alone right now. And he said, I would really like that. Please come back. So we made plans for me to come and see him again on Saturday. And I left. And then on Friday was that video.
Gonna miss the brackets and jackets? Yeah, well, the bracket tolls for the... I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. Yeah, it's really bad, Minor. It's really fucking bad. It's really bad. Is this my last broadcast? Yeah, it probably will be. It probably will be. It probably will be. And I feel I saw all the love outpouring towards me in the messages. And it's made me feel really badly. Is Q going to bracket my initials? Probably, yeah. Probably.
When your name goes in brackets, it means you're dead. So, and he didn't want to say much more about that. Instead, he talked a little bit about things that were going on inside of him, and things he was thinking about, and things that were happening to him, and people were so concerned about him. We were all concerned, chatting amongst ourselves in the fam-a-lam. Is he suicidal? What's going on? Something's wrong. So when I went back on Saturday, I said, hey, look, I want to talk about your video with you because I'm worried about you, and the whole fam-a-lam is really worried about you. And he said, I'm not suicidal. I'm really not. I promise you I'm not. But something bad is coming for me. And it would be easier for me to commit suicide than what they're going to do to me. I said, do you know what that is? He said, they're going to tear me limb from limb. And I said, how can we make you safe? He said, there's no way to make me safe. Nothing is going to make me safe from this. He says, I have been totally lied to. Everyone around me that I thought I was doing the right thing with, they were not who they said they were. Not a one of them was who they said they were, and I suddenly had that understanding. And that's when I knew I was in trouble.
Only listen to good. I don't even know who's good. Even the people I think are good are like not even helping me. Like they're just like, oh yeah, whatever. I was just doing cool stuff for us. They don't care about me. They don't fucking care about a human being. They don't care about David Scherner. They don't care about Vegan Mikey. They don't care about people that are abused. They don't care about anybody.
That day, I never saw a human suffer so much. He was terrified. And at one point he lay down on his bed and he said, I don't want to be inappropriate, but I'm really scared and I really need someone to hold me. Would you mind? So I crawled up next to him and wrapped myself around him and hugged him really tight and touched his face and touched his hair, and he'd just start to calm down and then he'd get up and run again. Out in Apple Valley where he lived, it was reasonable for there to be sudden weather changes. And we were out on the back. He was smoking and these clouds rolled in and it got dark nearly immediately. And he said, there's a storm coming to me. I said, yeah, why don't we come inside? It looks like it's gonna rain. And so we came inside and he said, let's go get tacos. And as we made this left up the street, there were some old buildings and there was nothing going on. My radio wasn't on, it was quiet in the car because we were talking. And all of a sudden, there was this sound of music in my bones, in my head, in my body, and we both jumped. There's Phil Collins' song, In the Air Tonight, and it was the lyrics Can you feel it coming? And the music stopped as soon as we got into the parking lot. I was trying to turn my radio off. The radio was not. It turned on when I pushed it. He had admitted that he was hearing a lot of sounds and a lot of noise and a lot of music, and that he had been banging his head on the ground, and that attributed to the knot on the back of his head. When people are targeted with V2K for a long period of time, their occipital bones hurt. You can't touch them. And that's right where I touched Isaac, where he almost cried. And then they start banging their heads anywhere they can, because the sound bounces off of your occipital bones and into the center back, and then it projects forward.
Guys, I have a headache today, just to let you know. Last time I told you I had a headache, after we talked for a while, like, the headache went away, so I'm telling you in hopes that that happens again.
After my visit with him on Saturday, I was gonna come back on Sunday and pick him up and bring him to my place, give him a week. And I messaged him a few times, and he didn't get back to me right away. And about 3 o'clock, he messaged me back and said, I'm gonna go see my mom. This is important to me, but I'll take you up on that when I get back. Sunday evening, I was vacuuming and doing some chores, and I heard I had followed him on Instagram, and I heard the tone for something on Instagram, so I picked it up. It was Isaac, and he was doing a little live, and you could see the sun setting behind him, and he was pulling at his hair and twisting it and talking, and he kind of showed in his car with his camera he was alone. And then we didn't hear from him. He was busy talking to other people, and I kept checking to see if he was coming into the chat. Nothing and nothing, and we started asking, anyone hear from Isaac? Anyone hear from Isaac? Anyone hear from Isaac? We didn't hear anything on Monday. Nobody heard anything on Monday. And then on Tuesday morning, I was sitting at my desk and I was working, and one of my new friends in the family said, I need to tell you something.
I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. Did I lie about Seth Green? No, Seth Green's a pedophile. Am I afraid of something? I'm afraid of, no, I should be, because bad things are coming my way. I can assure you of that.
Isaac Cappy out of New Mexico.
Wow. Did you catch that? That's a great. Oh, I don't want to go back to all that. 9 out of 12 people who viewed Wiener's laptop are dead. I believe those were all officers even. Like, these are facts. Takes no rocket scientist to actually connect the dots. Oh, unbelievable.
Former State Senator Nancy Schaefer and her husband Bruce were found dead today at their Havisham County home.
Fox 5's Justin Gray is here now with more. Justin.
Speak up.
for those who can't speak for themselves, and for the rights of all who are destitute.
Wow.
Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and the needy.
What a warrior.
Thank you.
What an example.
This story began with the abduction of baby Cyrus. And so you may be wondering if his fate matched those of the thousands of children who enter foster care. Not many people can say that they've witnessed a miracle. But when Diego invited me into his home to share their story, I experienced the undeniable power of God.
It's going to empower so many people, especially, we have a huge movement of God that we can feel in this country right now.
Absolutely.
And
Sorry to interrupt. We have some news. We just got off the phone with our lawyers. They dismissed the case.
It's over.
No gag order. Nothing.
It's done. We're done.
Without the Stu Peters Network and their vast following, yeah, this family probably wouldn't have got their child back.
You have got to be kidding. Your gag order is
Just got off the phone with our lawyers. No gag order. Cyrus is ours.
He's ours.
Come here.
I'm gonna go now, and maybe I'll come back. We'll see. But stay in the light. Stay in the moment. Maybe I'll be back later. I love you. Take care, okay?
Holy smokes. That was a lot tougher watch than I was expecting. Unbelievable. Wow. Donate to help victims of SRA at warriorbrideministries.com. I'm gonna, let's just do a quick screenshot. Whew. That's a tough one. Oh my gosh. My memory doesn't serve me right, folks. I can't recall. It's probably been over 2 years since I seen that, and it's just been a leaky sponge ever since, absorbing absurd amount of information ever since then. And clearly, I need to put some disclaimers on that, no doubt. But kind of like Isaac said there in the end, stay in the light. So it's healthy for some to obviously more aggressively get plugged into facing these things when we're able to more so stay in the light and shine the light on the darkness. But there's a difference between shining the light on the darkness and then actually being engulfed ourselves mortally by this darkness. Very challenging. Kind of shake it off a little, but all the statistics, wow. Well, I guess this will end up a kind of a reference segment when we do more deep dives into, because I am on behind closed doors. I am reaching out to individuals plugged into the Underground Railroad and things like that. And there's a lot more we could do to expose, kind of like Jim Caviezel did and Angel Studios did with the Sound of Freedom. Like, my goodness, you know what? Let's watch one of these trailers real quick, and then we'll read into The Jesus is calling. We need some inspiration. Now, either one of these is really good. I don't know why. Let's play this one.
International crime network that the world has ever seen.
If you haven't seen this film, oh my gosh, it's very well done.
The drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
Wow.
How long have you been doing this? 12 years now. How many pedophiles you got? 288.
Wow.
How many kids you found?
Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into her room right now, seeing an empty bed.
This is not just a film.
You quit your job.
This took
and you
place.
go and rescue those kids.
They bring all the receipts at the end of the
She could
film.
be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA. She's a major operator.
It's all rebel territory. No one goes in. Not the army, not the police, not us.
What if this was your daughter?
There's no Marine unit coming.
You're on your own. This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
Such a great film. Wow. All right. Well, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for the ability to do what we're doing here. I know it's not an easy topic. It's not an easy discussion to have. I know we'd rather bury our heads in the sand and be plugged into the direct impacts and communities we're engaged in. Completely just turn a blind eye. But I do believe that for a lot of us, we've been gifted with more than that, and we're denying ourselves from really tapping into those gifts. So let's lean more on our loving Creator and find out the path we were built for, why we were put in this time. So Jesus is calling. Let's answer. December 11th. It reads, I am working on your behalf. Bring me all your concerns, including your dreams. Talk with me about everything, letting the light of my presence shine on your hopes and plans. Spend time allowing my light to infuse your dreams with life, gradually transforming them into reality. This is a very practical way of collaborating with me. I, the creator of the universe, have... What? Why is that word not computing with my brain? DEIGNED. Why? To co-create with you. I don't know why that's not computing. That'll be a fun one to Google right after. Well, or use Brave. How embarrassing. No, it's not. I'm human. I'm not perfect. And yes, I embrace reading like a freaking elementary kid. And I look forward to improving that. Do not try to hurry this process. If you want to work with me, you have to accept my time frame. Hurry is not in my nature. Abraham and Sarah had to wait many years for the fulfillment of my promise, a son. How their long wait intensified their enjoyment of this child. Wow, that's profound. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, perceiving as real fact what is not revealed to the senses. There's 3 biblical references here. I challenge you to check them out. We got Psalm 36:9, Genesis 21, 1 through 7, and Hebrews 11:1. I'm excited to spend some time in prayer. Go for a little walk, shake some of this darkness off, and ask God directly, what can I do better? How can I be a better steward with the time that you are gifting me with here and have a more positive impact? Whatever that is. May not be something I want to hear or do, but I got to be open to it all. If it's shifting gears, if it's anything, I'm willing to do it. It's our children we're talking about. If we just all were willing to take one extra step, just lift something a little higher, we collectively, can we even imagine the impact we could have? I love y'all. I know this is a tough one. I look forward to lighter episodes in the future. It's just, it's a difficult thing, but evil is so here. I mean, I hope that draws people to the light. May our loving Creator bless you this wonderful day. Let's spend some time in prayer. Until next time, folks, take care.